what I did, Senator Key, was just trying to take different maps and get opinions from different House members and adjust those maps to accommodate as many people as I could, that I could get a majority vote in the House of Representatives and get 11 votes in the committee. And we managed to get 11 votes in the committee and 52 members of the House.
Well, I think you've gone well beyond answering who we is. I'm still not quite sure I know who we is with that answer. But another thing you said was after you went in and pulled 110,000 people out of the 3rd District, you had to come in and make the adjustments, and that's how DeShay and Chico County ended up in the 1st, which is kind of curious because when this map was discussed last week here, there was talk of one of the goals having a Delta district. So are you saying that was not one of the goals, that adding those southeast Arkansas counties was an afterthought after you went up and grabbed the population you needed to pay for?
When we drew, because the 4th district had lost so much population, and we had to draw the majority of the districts out of the third district, we started with that original map was held. Unfortunately, to keep from splitting Fayetteville up, it became obvious that we had to do something on the east side. When we did that, and taking the Delta, two or three counties out of Delta, it made the map look more acceptable and reasonable, and it looked pretty good to the people on the committee. They voted for it.
Okay, but there was not a goal to have a Delta district when you started this process?
I've always had a goal of having a Delta district, Senator, but I did not think it was going to be feasible until we got to drawing the maps.
Well, and you also didn't just leave population there, you also moved population from north central Arkansas that was in the 1st, and now it's back in the 3rd, so I'm trying to figure out how you figured all that into your calculations with moving 100, let me finish my question, moving 110,000 people out of the 3rd, but you added the population from Searcy and portions of Baxter County back into the 3rd.
When we took federal land and up in that area and to keep from splitting the city up, we had to adjust other areas. And when you move over to 400 people, as you well know, since you drew a lot of maps yourself, as you move more than 400 people in one township, you've got to shift everyone around.
Yep, and we're talking about this map right now. We talked about my maps last week. Those got big. So this is the one before us.
Yes.
The input you got from Sebastian and Polk counties, I think, considering that both of those counties, in Polk's case, borders 2 other currently congressional districts. Sebastian County borders the 4th district already. Do you think it's probably fair to think that those folks have a reasonable expectation that they could have been a target of being moved, where the folks in Washington County and Fayetteville would have had no idea that they were a target of being moved, and that's why you didn't hear any early input from them?
Early on in this process, the thought of entering into Washington County was made known on the other end of this building in the House. It was never a second thought. It was on the problem, but we had to get 110,000 people. Back to the fact that Washington, Fort Smith, the 2nd largest city in this state, has a certain weight back about value versus Russellville would, and it just worked out. This is the best map we could draw based on the population requirements of the districts and get enough support to get it out of the House.
But earlier in your remarks, you said you gave weight to Sebastian and Polk County because of the resolutions that you received from them.
I took that in consideration, yes.
All right. Senator Johnson, we talked about this last week, and after we finished, there was one question that I remembered that I failed to ask you. And that is, if this map is being presented as a politically competitive map, how did you determine that this map is politically competitive?
Well, you look at it, and you can
based on the last election cycle, the last 2, the last 10, I mean, the last election since 2000, I mean, which elections are we talking about that, when you look at this map, that just is supposed to just jump out at you and say, hey, this map looks politically competitive?
Well, of course, we all know how the last election cycle went. All of us have kept track, and I have, of Arkansas politics for many, many years. So, if you're asking for my own personal...
Well, you presented it as a politically competitive map, so I'm trying to assess whether it was your opinion that it's politically competitive. It's Representative Paul's opinion that it's competitive.
It's my opinion.
Representative Paul, is this, in your opinion, do you agree with Senator Johnson that this is a politically competitive map, and how did you determine it?
And Senator Kim, I want to make clear that it's not necessarily competitive in every district, but I concluded looking at the second district and the historical numbers in the second district that the way the map is drawn was it would maintain a competitive nature in the second district. I believe the first would be, and I believe the fourth would be. I'm not necessarily saying that about all 4 of them. I think those 3.
Representative Paul, if you have a comment on the political competitive nature of this map?
Thank you, Senator. Would you repeat the question, Senator Key?
Last week, we had a lot of discussion on this map being politically competitive, and that being a policy issue that this General Assembly should take into account when discussing redistricting. And Senator Johnson maintains that, in his opinion, this is a politically competitive map. I'm just wondering, was that a consideration for you, and if so, how did you determine whether this map was politically competitive?
Senator, I did not set out to, as chairman of the State Agency Committee, I did not set out to weigh politics in this. My thoughts on any of these districts is it's the quality of the candidate is going to dictate who wins, not the party.
Last question. Saline County grew by somewhere around 20%. The estimate was 19. I don't have the actual numbers. So there was strong growth areas under this theory of connecting a high growth area to declining growth areas of the state. Saline County being much closer to the center of the 4th district. Wouldn't that have been an area to consider to try to achieve that goal of that policy goal that we talked about last week, Senator Johnson, connecting those high growth areas with the declining growth areas?
It could be, but then again, I think that if you're interested in answering all three principles that I talked about, then Saline County might not be. I'll tell you that of the two communities that have been most discussed for the 4th Congressional District, that's Sebastian County and Washington County, or Fayetteville in particular. I mean, the numbers on Fayetteville